Good morning. This is Ginette Boudreau calling from my house. It's Tuesday, May 19th. Hope you guys all had a wonderful long weekend. I know I did. Anyways, I am here to give you a quick 15-minute chat on the stages of change. So the stages of change is a model that was developed originally in the 1970s, late 1970s, early 80s by two professors out of the University of Rhode Island. And they were trying to study on how smokers were able to give up their bad habits or their addiction. So they discovered a bunch of changes. I'm just going to put that there. Okay, so a behavior change does not happen on one step. People tend to progress through different stages on their way to successful changes. Each of us progress through this change at our own rate. Expecting behavior change by simply telling someone, for example, who is still in a pre-contemplation stage, is just a waste of time. They must be able to go and they must be able to do this within, kind of thing. By telling someone that you need to go to an AA meeting, when they're in the pre-contemplation stage, that's not going to happen. It'll be counterproductive, most likely. In each of the stages, a person has to grapple with different set of issues and tasks to relate the behavior. Stable, long-term changes cannot be externally imposed. Each person must decide for him or herself that they want this change to happen. Moreover, the change must come from here, not from anybody else telling you what to do. Well, I see I have one viewer, so thanks for tuning in. So, a little bit about the stages of change. There are 6. The pre-contemplation stage, which is not really even acknowledging that there's a problem. Okay? The contemplation stage is acknowledging that there's a problem, but yet not ready to make the changes or not sure how to make the changes. The preparation or the determination stage is getting ready to change. Thanks for tuning in, Josh. The action willpower stage is actually making that change. Okay? Being in the process. The maintenance is maintaining that behavior, right? And not falling into bad habits. And then the relapse, which is the last stage of change, is returning to old behaviors or abandoning the new changes. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on those. Okay? Sorry, give me a second here. I'm still on my phone. So the pre-contemplation stage is stage 1. In the pre-contemplation stage, people are not thinking seriously about changing and are not interested in any kind of help. So if you're talking to someone and they're in the pre-contemplation phase, then this is going to be counterproductive. People in this stage tend to, there's my dog, I apologize, working from home. People in this stage tend to defend their current bad habits and do not feel that there's a problem. They may be defensive in the face of people and trying to pressure them to quit or to change or to modify. Are you in the contemplation phase? Probably not, because you're tuning in right now, right? Or you may be tuning in because someone you love is having a problem with addiction, okay? But of course, people who are in the pre-contemplation stage may just need a little bit more education, need time to see what's going on, okay? And if you are in the pre-contemplation stage and you know someone who is, stay tuned. I'm going to talk about suggestions on how you can help others get through the different stages of change. Your second stage is the contemplation stage. The contemplation stage, people are more aware of the personal consequences of their bad habits, and they spend time thinking about their problems. Although they are able to consider the possibility of changing, they tend to be ambivalent about the changes. In this stage, people are on a teeter-totter. Do I change or not? I change or not? Right? Weighing the pros and cons of quitting or modifying their behavior. Although they think about the negative aspects of their bad behavior, the positive associated with giving up or reducing may doubt them in the long-term benefits associated with quitting. It may take as little as a couple weeks or as long as a lifetime for people to be in this contemplation stage. In fact, some people think and think and think about giving up their bad habit and may die never even getting out of the stage. Okay? So the contemplation stage can last an hour, a lifetime, months. Okay? So it's up to you. You're the one that can make these changes. On the plus side, people are more open to receive information about their bad habits and more likely to actually use the education, intervention, and reflect on their own feelings and their thoughts concerning their bad habits. So somebody in the contemplation phase will listen to you, most likely. Okay? Whereas somebody in the pre-contemplation will brush you off. Don't want to hear anything you have to say. Your third stage. In the preparation or the determination stage, people have made the commitment to make the change. Their motivation for change is reflected by statements such as, I've got to do something. I can't keep going on like this. This is serious. I have to stop. Right? So things like that. What can I do? This sort of research phase, this is kind of like a research phase. People are kind of asking questions, going online, taking health promotion courses to get knowledge and to get information on what they can do. Okay? To kind of building up their confidence and changing. So they will typically call clinics and try to find different strategies. So they will, like I said, they do their research. Too often people skip this stage, okay? They try to move directly from the contemplation to the maintenance stage. And because of that, they don't really realize the effort it needs to make a behavior change. They think about it, yes, I can do it, but to make a behavior change like that takes a lot of skills, a lot of determination and willpower. Too often people don't realize how much effort is required of them to make this change. And by doing the preparation, the determination phase, it kind of prepares them to what's going to happen. They realize, oh my God, this is going to take a lot of time and energy for me to make this change. Okay? Let's just move my notes. Once you go from the preparation, determination phase, your fourth stage is action, willpower. We all got it. It's in there somewhere. This is where people believe they have the ability to change their behavior and are actively involved in taking changes in making changes. Using a different variety of techniques. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. We're all different, right? So find a strategy that works for you. This is the shortest of all stages. The amount of time people spend in the action stage varies. My goodness, I'm tongue-tied today. Sorry. It generally lasts about 6 months, but it can be literally as short as an hour. This is when people are most dependent on their willpower. They are making efforts to quit or change the behavior that they are at the greatest risk of relapse. Okay? Mentally, they review their commitment to themselves and they develop a plan to deal with both personal and external pressures that may lead to slips. They may use short-term rewards or sustain their motivation and analyze the behavior change efforts in a way to enhance their self-confidence. It's okay. It's good to reward yourself when you have when you've overcome something. You did not give in to that craving, for example, or you went to a party and you didn't drink or smoke. Reward yourself. That's huge. Okay? You deserve it. People in this stage also tend to be open to receiving help and are likely to seek support from others. Okay? That's very important. Okay? Reaching out for help is very important. This is a message that we've been kind of saying all along is don't be alone in anything, right? With the COVID-19, with addictions, with mental health, depression, reach out, talk to someone. Okay? Your fifth stage is maintenance. Okay? Maintenance involves being able to successfully avoid any temptation and returning to bad habits. It's a big one. The goal of the maintenance stage is to maintain new status quo. People in this stage tend to remind themselves of how much progress they have made. People in the maintenance stage constantly reformulate the rules of their lives and are acquiring new skills to deal with life and avoid relapse. So as life goes on, somebody in the maintenance stage is always planning on how they're going to avoid a relapse. When we get back to socialization, if drinking is an issue, is a problem for you, you have an addiction, and then we get to go see family and friends again, and they're all drinking, how are you going to plan to not relapse into that behavior where you were before? Okay? Just keep reminding yourselves of the progress that you have made. Okay? They're able to anticipate situations in which relapse could occur. Okay? They develop coping strategies. Okay? In advance. Kind of like, when you are playing a sport and you can mentally visualize your game, it's kind of the same thing. You're mentally visualizing yourself going into a high-risk situation and how you're going to avoid temptation, kind of thing. Okay? They remain aware of what they are striving for and personally worthwhile and meaningful. They are patient with themselves and recognize it often takes a while to let go of old behaviors and patterns and practice new ones before it gets second nature to them. Okay? Be patient with yourself. Okay? Accidents happen. Relapse happen. People make mistakes. Be patient. Behavior change does not happen overnight. It did not create overnight, and it's not going to change overnight. Okay? As you progress through your own stages of change, it can be helpful to reevaluate your own progress moving up and down through these stages. Going up and down these stages is normal. You could be in the action willpower, to relapse, to maintenance, to pre-contemplation. You can be all over the place. Okay? It can go throughout the day, it can go out through weeks, it can be through months. But remember, it's normal. And to attain a stage and to only fall back into a previous stage is just part of you making your research, figuring out what works for you. If you find yourself something not working, try something else. Our last one is our relapse or a lapse stage. Okay? Along the way to permanent cessation, okay, or stable reduction. So some people may not want to quit, but may just want to reduce their habits, I guess, right? Most people experience a relapse, so it's normal to go through a relapse if you're trying to change a behavior. Do not beat yourself over the fact that you've relapsed or made it a slip up. Okay? In fact, it's much more common to have at least one relapse than not. Relapse is often accompanied by feelings of discouragement, seeing oneself as a failure. While relapse can be discouraging, the majority of people who successfully quit do not follow a straight path to a lifetime of self-destructive bad habits. Rather, they cycle through the 5 stages of change. Okay? So they cycle through it a few times before they even get to the stable lifestyle change. Consequently, the stages of change model considers relapse to be normal, like I mentioned. There is a real risk that people who relapse experience an immediate sense of failure that can seriously undermine their self-confidence. The important thing is that when they do slip up, if you do slip up and have a cigarette or a drink or cannabis or whatever it may be, that you don't see yourself as a failure. Instead, look at this opportunity as a learning curve, a learning opportunity. Go back and say, what did I miss? Where did I go wrong? How did I give in to this temptation? And use it as a learning tool for the next time. Okay? So if you relapse and you slip up, learn it, use it as a learning tool. Do not go back into your pre-contemplation phase. That is important. When you go back into your pre-contemplation phase, anything that you just learned is kind of down the garbage. You're back to your old habits 100%. If you do slip up, use it as a learning opportunity. and prepare yourself for the next time you're going to be challenged in a situation. There's the dog again. Relapsing is like falling off a horse. The best thing you can do is get right back on it. Okay? If you fall off the horse and relapse, it's important that you do not fall back through that contemplation phase. Okay? Start back in that preparation and in that maintenance. Nova. It's okay, Lise. People who have relapsed may need to learn anticipated high-risk situation. And maybe when COVID-19 is over, and maybe getting back with your families and your friends. It's summertime, right? More effectively controlled environment cues that tempt them to engage in their bad habits. Okay? Going back with your drinking buddies, for example. You have to learn how to handle unexpected episodes of stress without returning to your bad habit. Okay? Learn new strategies to deal with your stressors. This gives you a stronger sense of control and ability to be back on track. That's what I have for you for the stages of change. Pre-contemplation, when somebody is not acknowledging yet that there's a problem. Contemplation, acknowledging that there's a problem but not wanting to do anything about it or not knowing how. Preparation and determination is doing your homework, doing your research. This is the stage that's often skipped. Don't skip it. Do your homework. There's a lot of mental preparation with this. It's going to take a lot of time and effort out of you to not go into your bad habits if you're trying to change a behavior. Your action willpower, maintenance stage, or action willpower, you're making those changes. You're taking those steps, right? And then the maintenance. You started those steps. You made the changes. You're thinking ahead of time to avoid risky situations. And in the event that you go to a situation and you do relapse, you do give in, it's okay. Use it as a learning opportunity, okay? Use it as a learning opportunity to use it as a learning opportunity to prevent the relapse or giving in for your next time, okay? So that is what the 6 stages of change is all about. I want to thank you for tuning in. This is Ginette Boudreau from 14 Wing Health Promotion. Our Monday, Tuesday live shorts, our 15, 20-minute blur. Hopefully you learned something from me today. Enjoy your beautiful Tuesday sunny day. Take care. Hang in there.